So I suppose the time is run out and we can proceed. The people leaving the room, and we'll continue with our lecture. Last week we considered two models of above average return. It was industrial, organizational, and resource-based models. On the slide, you can see the timeline of development of three models. The last one is we didn't discuss last time, but essentially it is sort of combination of first two. It was developed by Dyer and Singh. I mentioned it here just to answer the question we have last time. The question was, which model is most important? And I answered that these days, people prefer to use both of them, meaning the market-based view, which we called last time industrial organization model, and resource-based view we discussed also last time. Today we are going to study external environment. The issue, the topic is important for all of three models or three approaches to the strategy. And my question would be to you, why it is important for a firm to study and understand the external environment. If anybody wants to speak out, you can raise the hand. I'll try to give you the opportunity to talk. The rest of the group who wants to answer the question can write it in the chat. So a couple of minutes. Who wants to talk about that? Nobody. Okay. The questions to be answered. Okay. There is one hand, and I'll try to give the floor. Sorry for the first time. Could you raise the hand once again? I cannot get it. Isaac Halim and Halim. I'll try to do that. And guys, you can have your chance to answer.
Hello, do you hear me?
Hello, yes.
So the external environment very essential to company in order to predict or forecast unexpected movement in global market. In this purpose, the company should prepare contingency plan in case of unplanned actions, which is not dependent on the company and on the competitors itself, like a COVID or maybe any kind of war. This is about the environment, why it's very essential.
Okay, thank you very much. Who else wants to talk, to have a floor? Okay. You have a chance.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I do agree with the previous speaker. I guess also the external analysis helps the company or corporation in general, maybe to conduct, for example, a SWOT analysis and consider not only the upcoming threats or changes, as Asylbek, I guess, has said previously, but also to consider some opportunities that can be like created with the actions that comes externally. So, well, for example, the behavior of other competitors on the market, or just some changes, maybe global changes on the market, which cannot be analyzed internally because it goes like out of the firm. So, well, I guess that this part of the analysis is done like externally, and that is why it's important. So
Okay, thank you very much. And
thank
the
you.
last one, you have the floor.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I wanted to add that external environment also is important for the vision of the company. As we know, vision is like a picture of firm wants to be, and it helps the firm to stay the goals to achieve. So that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. So, what we have, you've seen the questions we are going to discuss today, and we proceed to the discussion actually. We stressed the need to understand the external environment last week when we studied two models. Today we see how to approach this task. On the slide, you can see the model of external environment analysis. It includes three parts. The general environment analysis. It focuses on environmental trends and their implications. The industrial environment analysis that focuses on the factors and conditions influencing an industry potential. And analysis of competitors that focuses on prediction, competitors' actions, responses, and intentions. As the last speaker mentioned, it is important for companies to figure out vision, mission, choice of strategies, competitive actions, and responses it will take to implement those strategies. The general environment is composed of dimensions in whole society. The dimensions displayed on the screen. They are demographic, economic, political and legal, social, cultural, technological, global, sustainable physical environment. Those environmental segments affect all industries and the firms competing in the industries. For each segment, firms have to determine the strategic relevance of environmental changes and trends. The next part is the analysis of an industry environment, which is a set of factors that directly influence a firm and its competitive actions and responses. And this is about the power of suppliers, the power of buyers, and threat of product substitutes, the intensity of rivalry among competing firms. How companies gather and interpret information about their competitors is called competitor analysis, and understanding of firm competitive environment completes the science provided by studying the general and industrial environments. You probably already go through the PESTEL framework, which is basically the same, but it looks a bit differently, the presentation of the idea behind it. But we also have the general environment here, industrial environment here, strategic groups, and we are talking about the firms. So PESTEL probably is the well-known to you already. We won't stop here. We'll discuss the other issues, but it is quite. You probably already studied them. Why you do PESTEL? So, the general environment segments and elements. Then the demographic segment is concerned with the population size, age structure, geographic distribution, ethnic mix, and income distribution. The economic environment refers to the nature of direction and of the economy in which a firm competes or may compete. In general, firms seek to compete in relatively stable economies with strong growth potential. It is challenging for firms studying the economic environment to predict economic trends that may occur and their effects on them. When facing economic uncertainty, firms especially want to study closely the economic environment in multiple regions and countries through the world. The political legal segment in this arena is the in which organization and interest groups compete for attention, resources, and voices of overseeing the body of laws and regulations, guiding the interactions among nations and as well as between the firms and various local government and agencies. So you see that political legal segment is one of the issues you analyze when you're talking about the general environment, and the as well as the social cultural one. Sorry for that. The social cultural segment is concerned with the society attitudes and cultural values. The examples of the questions to discuss are listed in the slide. You will get the slides and then can go through it on your pace. The next segment is technological. It's about innovations, it's about application of knowledge, and about the R&D's budgeting of the companies in the general environment. We have here as well as a global segment, and probably these days in this country the global segment is very, very important. It includes relevant new global markets and the critical culture and institutional characteristics. Existing markets that are changing and important international political events. I was speaking about international events which affect this country, as well as China, as well as many other countries. And when developing the strategy, we have to consider those issues, and we are going to analyze and work through the questions of global segment. I would say that the sustainable physical environment listed the last one. There's this become the not the least one, but very important issue. And it is agenda for not just for the those who are doing business or who are engaged in the management of the companies, but general agenda. It's form the attitudes of our customers, develop. It forms the attitudes of regulators who create laws. It could be dramatically important for many companies. For example, the new laws, and I would say the new laws regarding the protection of environment, the new taxes, and the problems which could be caused by the product which is not in which not in compliance with the new regulations. And this country, in Russia, we probably will face those burdens in very short time. There are 4 parts of external environment analysis: scanning, monitoring, forecasting, and assessing. To cope with one of environmental data and to increase understanding of the general environment, firms complete this analysis. And the reason for that is to identify the opportunities and threats which are flow from this, the issues concerned with the internal environment, general internal environment. And those the opportunities and the conditions in general environment that, if exploited effectively, can help the company reach strategic competitiveness. And the threats are the condition that preclude company from success, that may hinder a company's efforts to achieve a strategic competitiveness. So doing the effective monitoring, forecasting, and assessing is vital to the firm efforts to recognize and evaluate opportunities and threats. This is let's proceed to industry environment analysis. As you probably remember, it is the second one. The first one we have the general one, and the industry the next one. Here we look to the industry, and which is actually the group of firms producing the products and their substitutes. We look to the industry and compare it with the general environment. The industry environment has a more direct effect on firms' competitive actions and responses. While the general environment also can affect the company and can affect the firm's industrial environment, is sort of has immediate effect to the firms and immediate effect to what we are going to do. To study an industry, we'll then consider the threats of new entrants, power of suppliers, the power of buyers, product substitutes, and the intensity of rivalry among the competitors. Basically, this is about the 5 forces model we are going to discuss now. Guys, there is your chance to speak. How do the 5 forces of competition in an industry affect the profitability potential? And you can have floor. You can raise the hands and talk. Anybody who wants to talk, just raise the hand and you will have the floor. Okay. Just a second. Yep.
Okay.
No.
So actually, I know the 5 forces of Porter, and he includes the main 5 forces that can influence the industry. Yes, this is newcomers, and this is potential competitors. The next one, it is about the substitute product, and 2 powers like power of suppliers and power of buyers. This is the main forces that influence the industry.
Okay, thank you. So, Anna.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
I have like a question, not an answer to your question. I have a question about the test. Just as you have told that you are closing it, I have fulfilled all the answers, but I didn't press the button like send my results, and my test just like disappeared. And as I understand, the answers weren't like collected, weren't saved. As far as in my grade book, I don't see any results of my tests. So I have a question, what shall I do? Because I have fulfilled the test for like, I answered all the questions, but still my answers, I don't know where are they.
Oh, it disappeared. Let's do this way. Please write an email to me and to Irina, and we'll do the best to recover the answers. and provide you the answer to your email and do something about it. I cannot answer straightforward about that. I have
Maybe I can just solve it one more time as far as I remember my answers, and I don't need like 15 minutes.
Well, we'll see. Definitely, this is not the question for
Okay, thank you.
For now, just email to me and to Lina. Okay. Yeah. So nobody wants to talk about more, but we proceed. So we have 5 forces of competition model. Analysis of 5 forces allow us to determine the industrial attractiveness in terms of the potential to earn above average and average returns. So basically, strong and competitive forces usually mean a lower potential to earn profits. I believe that you probably know that an attractive industry has low entry barriers, suppliers and buyers with strong bargaining power positions, strong competitive threats from product substitutes, intense rivalry among competitors. And on the other hand, attractive industry has higher entry barriers, suppliers and buyers with little bargaining power, few competitive threats from product substitutes, and relatively moderate rivalry. As I said, additional reading and additional materials and tools for studying are welcomed on this course. I definitely advise you to go to Harvard Business Review site. You can find the videos with Michael Porter, and it's very interesting to listen to him, how he explained the 5 forces model. It's always great to hear from the primary source the basic ideas and the explanation of them. You can find it on YouTube or on the Harvard Business Review site. I advise you to do that. I also advise you to go through the initial articles. You can find it anywhere on internet, or it is not difficult to find it. So let's now talk about threats of new entrants. Identifying new entrants is important because they can threaten the market share of existing competitors. How likely firms will enter an industry is a function of 2 factors. First of all, barrier to entry and the retaliation expected from current industry participants. Companies compete with a particular industry, study entry barriers to determine the degree to which the competitive position reduces the likelihood of new competitors being able to enter the industry. And there are several significant entry barriers. The list you can see on the screen. And let's talk a little bit about them. Economic of scales is basically about the cost of production each of unit declines. Based on that, the notion that the cost of the production of each unit declines as the quantity of the product produced during a given period of time increases. Meaning, if you produce more, each unit becomes cheaper, and this creates the one of the barriers for entry, meaning the economical scale. Another one is a product differentiation. Over time, customers may come to believe that a firm product is unique and consistently purchase that particular firm product. To combat that perception of uniqueness, new entrants frequently offer product at lower prices. However, this may result in lower profits or even losses. And the great example of that, Apple with its iPhone. They have not the biggest share of the market, but definitely they have the biggest profit from this market. Even the share is not is much less than 30%. So the other barriers include capital requirements. The more investment, the difficult. If you're going to enter to the market, you need to be ready to invest heavily in the production. Switching costs, access to distribution channels, cost disadvantages depend on scale, government policy. Government decisions and policies can sometimes control the entry into the industry by granting licenses or permits, by regulation or deregulation, or imposing the antitrust regulations. These days, we probably know that some countries also regulating the presence of foreign companies in the local markets. It is true for developed markets as well for developing ones. So the issue need to be considered before, when you are going to analyze the general environment. Industry environment. The bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers can exert power over firms competing with an industry by increasing prices or by reducing the quality of their products. For example, do you have any examples? Who wants to talk, to give your opinion? Raise hand. No. Okay. The example is basically listed on the screen as well. When it's dominated by a few large companies and it's more concentrated than industry to which it sells. There are lots of discussion of the bargaining power of Gazprom those days and its influence on the European natural gas prices. So we have can discuss it a bit later, or you can discuss it in our seminars. The next important issue here is bargaining power of buyers. They reduce the cost. Buyers bargaining for high quality, great levels, or services or low prices. Who wants to provide any examples? Any volunteers? Nope. Okay, fine. The good example probably can be in this country, in Russia, the government purchases. And they can influence the market. In some areas, definitely this is the case for the defense industry. When the government have the opportunity to heavily influence the level of prices and the other conditions of the trade. Threat of substitute products. It is a good example of how it works. The 5 forces model. Substitute products are goods or services from outside a given industry and that perform similar or the same functions as a product that industry produces. In general, product substitutes present a strong threats to a firm when its customer face few, if any, switching costs. Could somebody be so brave and give some examples? No, bravery is rare stuff. Oh, Daria. Great, we have Daria. Just a second. Yep, you have floor, Daria.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
So maybe we can provide like a lot of examples. So like from something that first come to mind, maybe like Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. So the substitute and like this war have a very long history, maybe like this, or maybe even like some companies in mobile phone industry, like for example, Apple can be substitute for some Android phone, maybe like this.
Okay, let's hear somebody else. A good example, thank you. The next one.
Yes, I can also say about some substitute products as firms as McDonald's and for example KFC or Burger King. Well, I think that there is a lot of examples. The main thing is that all they are competitors between each other. For example, Starbucks and Costa Coffee and so on. So they are from the same market field and they are competitors.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would say that it's a bit against the definition we can see here, because substitutes products are goods or services from outside a given industry. So when we talk about the mobile phones, we are not talking about substitutes. When we're talking about bread and spread, butter and spread, it is possibly not the same stuff, but a bit different issue to consider. Let me ask you another. Can somebody else explain the very well-known example of Cirque du Soleil, comparing to, is it a substitute products to general circus or not? Do you want any ideas? Somebody wants to talk floor and discuss? Okay, Elizaveta.
So speaking of circus, the du Soleil, it is not a substitute because the quality of product is really high. And if we have an opportunity to go to some other no-name circus, we will probably decline it and go to du Soleil.
The question is, look, when we are, is it a threat of substitute products? When somebody wants to come, is it the case when Cirque du Soleil competes with the general, with the common circus, common theaters, and provides the other opportunity of performance, of spending money and time for your entertainment? You know, this is about the blue ocean strategy, but it flows from exactly what the question whether it is substitute or substitute products for other types of performances or not. Okay, guys, I left it for you to discuss on seminars if you want. For me, the question quite interesting, and you probably will have the opportunity to do that on the seminars. Yep. And let's talk now about the intensity of rivalry among competitors. It is also important stuff, and competitive rivalry intensifies when a firm is challenged by competitor actions. A company recognizes an opportunity to improve its market's position. So the issue here is that the important notion here is that when you are talking about, when we're analyzing the competitive environment and industry, you have to figure out the responses of your competitors to what you're doing and how many rivalries are going to do something with your against your actions, against what your movements. And you have to take into account when you're developing your strategy. Factors that increase the intensity of rivalry among the firms are listed on this slide. Generally, it includes numbers of equality balanced competitors, whether you have many equal-sized, equal power competitors, and or you have one big and many ones smalls. It also influenced by the pace of growth, whether it's slow or whether it's quite fast. When you have slow or zero growth of industry, the rivalry, first of all, expect to increase. When you have fast growing, there are lots of space for everybody, and then there are might be not that fierce. Let's talk about strategic groups. I won't ask you the questions because we are running out of time, so let's proceed to the definitions. So here we can see the strategic groups after considering the rivalry and the companies on the market. We need to figure out in which strategic group we are going to be and which strategic group we are going to compete. The reason for that is that competitive rivalry is greater within the strategic group than between strategic groups, meaning that Mercedes-Benz will in direct competition with BMW rather than with the Hyundai and Kia. And Ferrari competes with the Porsche and Lamborghini, not with the Nissan and Honda. Yeah, it's all we can see the cars, but the groups, the competition is within the groups, not in general in the market. So strategic group is a set of firms emphasizing similar strategic dimensions and using similar strategies. Analyzing strategic groups can be helpful to diagnose competition, position, and profitability of firms competing within the industry. And the last one, not last, but next to last, the competitor analysis. Competitors' intelligence is the set of data. Yes, is a set of data and information the firm gathers to better understand and anticipate competitors' objectives, strategies, assumptions, and capabilities. So we are gathering this information and we are going to figure out what the competitors are doing. And we do the competitors analysis, which focuses on each company against which the firm competes directly. And this is a notion we can have here. Mercedes competes directly with BMW. Here, the firm seeks to understand the following: what drives the competitors as shown in these future objectives, what the competitors is doing as relevant by its current strategy, what are the competitors' beliefs about the industry and how and it is shown by their assumptions, what the competitors' capabilities are, and then shown by strengths and weaknesses. So we are we're gathering all the information, and then we analyze it, and we provide this means that we are doing the competitor analysis. By doing this, we have to consider some ethical issues. Definitely, it is firms must follow the laws and regulations, and as well as ethical guidance when gathering competitors' intelligence. We are not allowed to steal. We are allowed to gather. We're allowed to go to presentation, to websites, to reports, to exhibitions, and to analytics, who will serve you to understand how your competitor is doing that. And we are not allowed to blackmail, trespass, or steal drawing samples or documents. This is unethical and sometimes could lead even to criminal charges. So guys, this is everything we have to discuss for today. On the slides, you have also key takeaways, theoretical concepts and definitions. The ones you will need to for your seminars and for the quiz. I ask you and definitely advise you to do the more reading you can. Strategy is great course, and you will get much more from where you read, what you're reading and where you're reading. And this is just go to library, go to or to the internet and Google the issues, Google the articles. It definitely works for you to read Michael Porter or listen to him. And there are lots of other stuff. So, no, I don't have PMP certificate. Sorry, guys. If you want to listen about my career, you can go to the LinkedIn and then study about me. I'm general C-level manager. I had a couple of good, huge projects. For example, airport pool co-reconstruction under PPP agreement. This is where I served for 5 years, and some other. So guys, thank you very much.